is starting, so.
Actually, let's put you in the middle, Scott. And then I can be on the edges, and then when they go in for a two-shot, I can be manipulating the head.
I like it.
And just looking at this, God, that thing is so simple to operate.
Yeah.
I was able to walk up to it and
Yeah,
go,
got 10
okay, I figured
seconds.
this out.
Stand by.
Carbon work is,
Yeah, it came out nice. We're really pleased with it.
Okay, I'll get going.
We're making it better.
And welcome back to the SOC's continuing coverage here at NAB 2019. I know it doesn't look like we're at NAB because we are.
It's kind of pleasant right
Yes,
now.
it is. The quiet is almost deafening, right?
It's fantastic.
I'm here, of course, with Eric Fletcher of the SOC, and we're here with Cinemoves today.
Scott Howell.
Yep.
Scott, you guys have done something revolutionary to the point that the SOC gave you guys the award this year for technical innovation. Is that the official?
Technical Achievement Award. Yeah.
Technical achievement. Talk about what we are looking at in front of us here.
When you said revolutionary, I thought you meant that we set up in a suite away from all the chaos.
Well, that too. And by the way, a huge thanks to LiveView, because the only way we're able to do these interviews live, we're using the LiveView Solo right now, so we're able to absolutely remove ourselves from the studio and come up here. Can we say where we are? Is it?
Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
we are at the Aria on the 25th floor. So
Of the Skylofts.
Nice and quiet.
Yeah,
Nice
nice and quiet.
perched high above Atlantic City. Look at that view outside.
Atlantic City, Las Vegas.
Did I say Atlantic City?
You said
I wonder
Atlantic
where he's from.
Wow. Ironically, I'm going to Atlantic City tomorrow, so maybe that's why
there you go.
maybe that's why it's stuck in my head.
Yeah, pretty
but
nice.
let's talk about this head. What is it?
Yeah,
What does it do? What does Cinemoves do?
Well, Cinemoves is a group of people that are extremely passionate about camera movement and about camera stabilization. That's what, I always have to start and end these type of interviews and this interaction with. It's not about me. When, this product and Cinemoves as a whole is what we call ROC, R-O-C, the result of collaboration. It's a bunch of awesome people that have gotten together and just have that same passion and have jumped in and, try to tackle a common goal.
And what was sort of the problem or the real world issue that you looked at that said we need to solve this?
So several problems. So, and I think Eric can appreciate this. On the bigger level, the problem has always been, stabilizing the image, giving the operator as much control as he has to manipulate the image and to have control of it. That's the big problem. And then you have these products like Libra. Nick Phillips, when he developed the Libra, that was really the first stabilized gimbal that we had in the industry, and it set the world on fire because it was so different. Now, I was looking at that big problem to solve, but to a certain degree it had already been solved. There was products out there.
Right.
What happened was I had that old experience when you were a little kid and you were at the playground and one kid wanted to leave and it happened to be his football and he's taking his football and I'm going home. When that scenario was presented to me, I have a lot of techno cranes, a lot of other apparatuses, but more importantly, I have all these people that depend on me.
Right.
Or depend on this entity. So I had to come up with a solution. And I went down this journey, or started this journey, over 10 years ago to go and find that next answer. Like, okay, if I can't play with your football, let me go find another game or another football to play with. And we started down a road and we developed another product, had tremendous success from that, and then had an opportunity to go back to square one, the drawing board, and that's where the Matrix came from. And I couldn't be, and I tell you what, you mentioned in the beginning, if there's one thing I ever achieved as far as the awards, world goes, getting the SOC award, being voted on and vetted by the caliber of people that looked at it, it doesn't get any better than that. So that was, boy did that make me feel good.
Well, and they brought a product that literally dropped our jaws.
Yeah.
I mean, when we got out there and he had the demo, and Dave Emmons and I got onto it and utilized his new mode, which is the ultimate trick, and created what was in essence a robotics camera shot that in the past we would have had to actually program a cupper or a mover to do the shot, and Dave and I did this, and it was perfect because he came up with a new way of thinking about how to operate a head that has a roll axis on it.
So, of course, this is a 4-axis stabilized head, and Eric, you're going to double duty now. We're going to actually ask you to operate.
Yeah.
We let you talk a lot this
Oh
week.
boy, I just took it out of the wrong mode. I need to get to the mode where I can get to
Oh, all you do is go right here, just hit
Oh, there you
control
go.
profile, yeah.
control profiles. Okay.
So we let you talk a lot. Now we're going to make you operate. So traditionally, if you wanted to pull off a shot that had a roll in it or the camera was not flat, what would you have to do?
I have to start dividing my brain into what portion of the shot is pan and what portion of the shot is tilt. And with what Scott did in going to this image relative mode, you come over here and start rolling the roll handle, just roll it. I can still tilt and I can pan. And all I'm doing is I'm looking at my panning and my tilting. You keep rolling. So I'm not having, at this point, we have what's called crossover, in which point pan is tilt and tilt is now pan.
Right. Right now, the camera,
That's
if you can
90
see it,
degrees.
is a perfect 90 degrees.
Okay.
And we're in a Kill Bill movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if I want to go and look at the bottom of that building, all I do is I tilt down and I can see that straight. Or if I want to pan right, I just roll the pan rail right, or I can do a complex move and see something else.
While I
Not having seen the building.
get us back
Yeah.
straight on
And
the
now
roll.
I'm going to keep that in my frame and slowly introduce this building. And it requires no thought on my part. All I do is look at the monitor and go, I need to tilt, I need to pan. And for the entirety of cinema up to this point,
I mean,
that was impossible.
what does this head do to? I mean, you can dive in sort of mechanically. This is obviously a real thing. Operators have had to deal with this for
Right.
a long time. I mean, there was no good way to do this. I mean, the amount of hand skill that you need. You need 2 people to operate this shot who are thinking on the same wavelength. I mean, the corrective work that you'd have to do is almost impossible forever.
Yeah.
How did you develop this?
Well, again, I'll go back to, I don't like to use I too much in this because I
Yeah.
surround myself with some incredibly smart people. but
you will be the
Surreal.
Yeah, right.
Surreal.
So
All right.
this really comes down to the architecture, but more importantly, the software. And we've just been fortunate enough to have the right people in place that have created this software that just has never been. This has been such a no man's land. This is, you might have heard the term gimbal lock before and things like that. And that's just, it was a really hard nut to crack. And we were just able to crack that math that allows us to have what we call full regard, and you'll never get into gimbal lock. There is nowhere that this head can't look.
at any
Nowhere.
time.
At any given time.
And what have you put this head on to this point? Right now, there's an Alexa on here, Alexa Mini.
Yeah, so when I went back, that opportunity I had to go back to the drawing board. What I decided was I'm just going to, this. Fortunately, it was right when film was just having that little resurgence there, IMAX especially. So I used that as my gauge. I needed to take an IMAX camera in this, so I can put anything up to an IMAX camera. So I'm covering every large format camera they have out there. We can put an Arri LT with a 1,000-foot mag on
What's
it.
the weight there?
Oh, weight-wise, this will take 125, 150 pounds. I don't, with the strength of these motors and the torque, these are what's called the direct drive motors, it'd be hard to, overload it. There's just not, you couldn't get anything big enough in there probably to overload it. But this is where we, from our first iteration to this one, we were able to open this up, one, to take those bigger payloads, but also, we listened to the ACs out in the field. The guys that had to come in here, while Eric was yelling at them to hurry up and change a mag or change a lens.
I'm just like, oh God.
So we just gave them a lot more real estate and a lot more room. So I guess to answer your question, it was a combination between this really unique architecture and this incredible software that we were able to get our hands on, or develop, I should say, that have allowed us to do this.
And I think here's the other thing that a lot of people don't realize. It took you how many people to do this? How many people are on your team?
Well, it's a, defined team. The actual engineering team was probably, 8 at different times, but the people that had input were my 30 plus
Right.
people out in the field. I mean, you know, I've got my two lead remote head techs at the company, Sean Fawcett and Kenny Rivenbark, were so essential. And then Yuri Fuchs, that these guys, that not only did they come in knowing what Eric needs out on set, but they had a technical acumen that really brought a lot to it. So this was a huge collaboration.
So you're just getting these out in the field now. How many units are in the
So
wild?
four are being assembled as we speak. We're doing a run of 20 right now. And that's a great segue into, other than the SOC award, probably the biggest feather we had in our cap, and something that just really made us feel proud, is the vendors and the companies that have jumped on board with us. And they've, not only did they jump on board, but they all bought in, you know, hook, line, and sinker, and are fully invested in this program. This program, and you're talking ProCam Rentals in LA, which is interesting. It's my single biggest competitor in the rental market. But
Just bought his head.
But they have the best techs as well. They're similar to Cinemoves, and you know we know how this business is. This is a relationship business. It's the people. You know, Eric has the remote head tech he wants to work with, and you know, why would I want to keep? I'm not going to take my football and go home. I want to play nice. Monster Remote in New York, they've jumped on board. Probably the most, you know, credible company up in that region, if not in the entire world. Simco, which is the Libra vendor up in Canada, as well as All Access. Camera Revolution over in the UK, the single biggest Libra vendor in the world, bought in. Special Grip Hungary, Service Vision in Barcelona. It's
Which Service Vision makes the Scorpio cranes, and they make their own heads.
They make their own heads. It's really, and then Toby Coping, who is my partner with Cinemoves, but also TC Grips down in Australia, probably the foremost crane and head, you know, provider down there. All of these guys bought in instantly. They were all up here just the other night, and that to me was like, you know, it doesn't get a better, you know, better credibility and validation than that. So all of them are getting some, and then we're building more. So like I said, run of 20, and then it goes on from there.
You know, it's obvious to put this on a crane, right? That's you know, that's what it's for. But looking ahead, I mean, what other uses can you see for something like this? 4-axis stabilized, never loses position. What else could you mount this
So
to?
my forte as a key grip is I was a traveler. I worked with this fantastic, one of my best friends, but incredible director, Klaus Obermeyer. And we travel all over the world. I mean, you know, remote locations, the Icelands, the Greenlands, the place where you can't get things in, where to bring in, you know, an Eclipse helicopter head and then a Libra and all this, you just didn't have that luxury. So my part of this is that I needed something that I could take anywhere and put on anything. I've done I've had a tremendous amount of success with this out on helicopters, flying the big packages. Which, one, you might do it because of convenience, you might do it because of economics, because it's already there on set. But we've actually had a lot of opportunity to fly it because I can put Alexa 65 on there with a big lens that I can't put in some of the other helicopter-specific gimbals. I mean, certainly I've put it on every boat you can imagine. I've taken this thing and I've suction cupped it onto a freaking, you know, BMW M6 with Eric Joyner from Tool North America driving at 140 miles an hour around a racetrack, and this thing's sticking out in matrix mode off the side. Crazy.
Yeah.
But so I did no limits. Yeah, that's right. That's our slogan, no limits.
There's nothing you can't.
Nothing I can't.
When you need a remote head, there's nothing this can't do.
And you're just, you know, you're going to be able to go, you know, the super long lenses. There's certainly, you know, there's Ronins, there's Mobies, and those all are fantastic products. They have their place, but when you need to go on that really long lens, or you need that really good stabilization, that big camera package, it's hard to beat it.
Where can we learn more about it? Where can we learn more?
You go to cinemoves.com, and then you can actually check out our Instagram page and our Facebook. But we're constantly updating and we're pushing it. And this is the most fun for me is I'm the test dummy. I get to, you know, my job is to go out and try to break this thing. And I've broken it a few times, but it's cool to know what it does. What I really want to find out is to know what it doesn't do,
right? Or
where you know its weak points might be, and so I can, you know, address those and
those go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it here. We thank the SOC members for tuning in on YouTube. This is our last
It is.
interview for
It
NAB
is.
2019.
It's been fun.
But we will be back with Live View on set later today, so make sure to check the Facebook page out and Cinemoves. Check
Thanks,
them out
man.
online.
Thanks
Thank
for-
you, and
thanks for coming by.
catch this thing out in the wild.
All right.
Awesome.